A warm welcome to all of you. I am Dr. Pritichhaya Tamboli, working as an assistant professor at Dr. Ambedkar Institute of Management Studies and Research, Diksha Bhumi Nagpur. Today, I am going to cover a very interesting but equally important topic called as managerial control. As we have discussed in earlier videos, there are many functions of management which plays an important role in any business organization, amongst which the last function is considered as control. Control is equally important from the very first step of management, that is planning, also in organizing, directing, communication, reporting, budgeting, etc. The managerial control, like planning, is a continuous process and deals with many aspects of management. It is a reviewer, or it acts as a feedback or a checkpoint that how the organization is functioning, whether the organization is functioning towards the achievement of its goals or not. It gives the result of the organization's performance and acts as a checkpoint for every company. So let's begin with the concept of managerial control. Controlling is a management function. It is a process of comparing actual results with the standards set in the planning function. Yes, as discussed earlier, the planning function was the first and foremost function of management. This function of management was considered as a base of the whole process of management. We, in the process of planning, we set up the standards upon which we have to work in our company, through which we have to achieve our objectives. And in last step, that is controlling function, we have to compare the standards with the actual results. It ensures that right things happen in the right way at the right time. As I said earlier, it acts as a checkpoint whether the organization is performing in the right direction or not. It informs the company about the deviations, if any, and gives an opportunity to correct those deviations at an earlier stage so that it won't get converted into bigger problem or bigger risks. Controlling ensures that short-term goals are in parallel with the long-term goals. Yes, any company, may it be small scale, large scale, or medium scale enterprise, have to work upon two types of goals, that is short-term and long-term goals. Both the goals should go hand in hand, that is parallelly, for the effective and efficient functioning of the enterprise. It helps to ensure that objectives are achieved. So, in short, controlling function is also called as a checkpoint. Controlling helps in ensuring that while achieving the objectives, the rules and regulations are followed optimally. Yes, if any company surely aims at achieving objectives, but it does not only aims at achieving objectives, but the path through which the objectives are achieved also matters equally. If the path chosen by the employees or the organization's management is incorrect, the whole achievement of objectives does not stand true. So, controlling checks on the path through which the objectives are achieved. The path or the objectives should be in accordance with the mission and vision of the enterprise, which has been set in the first function of management, that is planning. It checks that whether the rules and regulations are followed optimally, that is 100% or not. This is a diagrammatic representation of the control process. The control process varies from author to author or from one book to another, but the gist is same. It consists of few steps which might range from 4 to 5 steps. So we have fixing of standards, we have measuring the actual performances, comparison, corrective action, and follow up. These steps will be discussed in this particular lecture. First is establishment of objectives and standard. If we don't do this particular process or step, the whole process of control falls apart. So setting up of objectives, setting up of standards is very, very important. The control process begins with planning and establishment of performance objectives. So in short, if we have to understand the control of management, we have to understand that planning and control goes hand in hand. Like planning is a continuous process, same controlling is also a continuous process. It is not a work of a day or a week or a month, but from the day you start your company, the day you start your planning, controlling begins parallelly. It might not be that visible in the initial days of your working of the company, but it plays a vital role towards the end of the company, or towards the end of, say, a financial year or review period of that particular company. Performance objectives are defined and standards are measured for measuring them are set. The objectives, if set properly, will be compared at a later stage, which will give us the result, or which will give us the idea whether we are performing in the correct direction or not. So this was the first step, which consists of two types of standards: output standards and input standards. Output standards consist of quality, quantity, cost, and time. That is, if we want to complete a project, what would be the quality of it, what would be the time frame, what would be its costing, and in which quantity we have to present it. And naturally, the input standards will be measuring work efforts that goes into a performance task. So all this we have to set in the first step, initial step of control process, that is establishment of objectives and standards. Moving further, we have measuring actual performance. That is, we have to compare. If we take an equilibrium in our hand, we definitely want that both the sides of the equilibrium should be equal. So just assume that in one side or one panel of the equilibrium, we have standard performance, which we have already set or decided in the first function of management, that is planning. And in another panel of the equilibrium, we have actual performance in our hand, our actual performance. The two will be compared, the two will be weighed. If the both the panels of the equilibrium are on the same point, or the equilibrium is achieved, then we are at a very, very good position of our company. So the measurement must be accurate enough to spot deviations or variances between what really occurs and what is most desired. Without measurement, effective control is not possible. Hence, manager plays a vital role in the company, as he or she is the person who measures the actual performance, thereby looking into the actual performance. Then we have to compare with objectives and standard. There are various performers on the basis of which we can compare the performance: historical, relative, engineering, benchmarking, etc. The comparison of actual performance with desired performance establishes the need for action. Next is taking corrective action. That at any point of time, if we understood, or are if we are getting a hint that the actual performance is way apart from the standard performance, and there is some mistake or something is going wrong, we have to immediately take corrective action. If there is delay in this corrective action, then the whole point of our control process will be in vain. Taking any necessary corrective action to correct or improve things. Management by exception focuses managerial attention on substantial difference between actual and desired performance. Let's move further. We have lots of technicalities involved in the corrective action. That is the last step of this particular control process. Management by exception can save the manager's time, energy, and other resources, and concentrates efforts on areas showing the greatest needs. That is, whether the performance is below standard or it is above standard, which will be measured and will be reported by, say, lower level to middle level to top level, and the necessary action based upon that feedback will be reported. Effective control mechanism, that the best control in organization are strategic and result oriented, understandable, and encourages self control. It is often seen that if there is a huge amount of self control on each and every employee of the organization, the overall result will be very effective. The best controls in organizations are timely and exception oriented, it is positive in nature, fair and objective, and is flexible, that is changeable in nature. So, thus, we have had an insight into the last function of management, that is managerial control. So, as a part of revision, we'll say that it goes parallel or hand in hand with the first function of management, that is planning, and it is equally important as the actual results are being compared to standard results in any business organization. It acts as a feedback, it acts as a mirror that how the company is performing and whether the desired objectives are achieved or not. We'll be looking at many other management functions, management phenomenons and concepts in the coming videos. So thank you for now, see you.